Okay, so this is going to be my review of Cougar Town Season 2. This is going to be a very short video because I feel like a lot of what I have to say here is basically me taking back things that I said in my review of Season 1. For example, in my review of Season 1, I said that Ellie was one of the most unlikable characters in the show, along with the main character Jules, and while Jules remains an unlikable character throughout Season 2, and what very little I have seen of Season 3, Ellie gets better. I can't really describe what it is, but Ellie is no longer the mean, shrewish neighbor that she was in Season 1. She still has moments where she's mean to people or she says mean things, but there's almost this quality about her where you can kind of tell that even though she says and does mean things, she really does love all of her neighbors. She's really good friends with them, and there are moments where you can see, oh, she's willing to fight for these people. Even though she may say and do mean things about them and to them, she is not their enemy. And I really came to like Ellie a lot more in this season than I did in the previous season. So that is one thing that I am taking back. Ellie is not nearly as much of an unlikable character as I once thought she was. Another thing that I would like to redact. In my review of Season 1, I mentioned that in Season 2, Travis becomes a really unlikable character. For some reason in my mind, I remembered from the previous time that I had watched Season 2 of this show, a very long storyline of Travis trying to propose to his girlfriend. She was going to say no, and then he was going to basically drop out of college. For some reason, I remembered that storyline being really long and taking up a large part of this season. It really doesn't take up that much room at all. There's, I think, about 3 episodes where Travis is kind of moping after the failed proposal, and then there's the 2-part season finale where Travis moves to Hawaii, a little bit of a spoiler there, and then it all kind of gets wrapped up at the end of this season. Travis does come off pretty unlikable during his depressed, mopey part of this season, but that doesn't take up nearly as much of the season as I originally thought it did. It's only about 5 episodes in all, and that's about, I guess, a fourth of the season. For some reason, I just thought that that was a lot more of the season. Something else that I wanted to mention is the relationship between Grayson and Jules. I mentioned in my review of Season 1 that their relationship started way too soon, and I was afraid that the writers weren't going to have any idea what they were going to do with this couple once they got them together. That's very similar to a problem that we had in Friends, where Rachel and Ross got together in Season 2, and then after that they had no idea what to do with those guys, so they went through a series of breaking them up, putting them back together, and breaking them up for 8 years, and by the time you get to the end of the series, at least for me, I just did not care about that couple anymore. I was afraid that was going to happen with Grayson and Jules. Once they get together, the writers would not have any idea what to do with them. And if you just watch Season 2, it might seem like they really aren't sure what to do with these guys. Admittedly, at the end of Season 1, they kind of are in a friends with benefits place, and then this season is more about them being an actual boyfriend-girlfriend couple. So there is a little bit of forward movement with their character arcs, if you will, with them as a couple moving forward. That becomes even more clear at the beginning of Season 3. I'm not going to spoil what happens at the beginning of Season 3, but way back when I first started watching Cougar Town, I only watched the first 2 seasons and then I stopped. It's abundantly clear the writers do have a sort of plan with these characters, moving them forward each season so that at the end of Season 3 they are in a different place as a couple than they were at the end of Season 2 and at the end of Season 1, etc. Now, I'm not sure how long this can go on. I'm not sure what's going on in Season 5 if they are still moving forward as a couple. I really don't know. I guess I'll just have to wait and see whenever I get to that point. Overall, the humor of this show is still top-notch. This is still a really funny show. I'm really enjoying this a lot more than I did the last time I tried to watch this show. Really, the only thing that would keep anyone from wanting to watch this show, I think, is the main character, Jules Cobb. She still remains a very manipulative, not very likable at all character. And I really feel like I would enjoy this show about 1,000 times more if she was not in the show, and this was just the adventures of everyone else in the cul-de-sac crew. Having said that, this season, I think, is better than Season 1. Season 1, in a lot of ways, I think was still trying to find its footing. It did a lot of good things, but I think there was some stuff it was still working on. And this season, I think, improves on all the stuff that it was still trying to get right in Season 1, which is a common trope of many sitcoms. You can find any long-running show, watch the beginning of the show, and you're like, wow, this is very different from what I remember the show as being. And I think Cougar Town is sort of that way, and I think it will probably be even more apparent when this show is over, and if it's run for 6 or 7 years, you can go back and look at Season 1 and then look at like Seasons 4 and 5, and you'll be like, wow, okay, that was really different. That is about all I have to say here. Like I said, this was going to be a short video, basically me saying everything that I complained about in Season 1 and said, okay, this is going to be a problem with this series, ultimately didn't end up being a problem that I thought it would be. This season was pretty enjoyable for me, and I'm looking forward to watching Season 3, and I will let you guys know what I think of that season whenever I get around to it. So, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys tomorrow with a different kind of video. So, until then, have a great day. I'll see you then.